I used to think shadow work was so overrated, and it wasn't essential to the healing process, and that I knew where my feelings came from, and I knew how I feel and why the way I felt. And shadow work, it's so tiring, it takes so much energy and whatnot. Just downplaying shadow work for the longest. Once I started doing shadow work consistently, girl, I'm gonna tell you, my life changed so much, like for the better. Hello, my lovelies. I know I've been gone for like ever, and I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to be consistent, but I am going to try to post more content on YouTube. With that being said, I don't know if this video is going to come out before my podcast or not, but I'm starting a podcast. My first episode is going to be available Monday on Patreon and then Wednesday on YouTube. So I hope y'all look forward to that. The first episode is going to be about confidence. If it's already out, I hope you already watched it. If you haven't, go check it out. And if it's not out yet, be ready. Anywho, don't mind my microphone. If you don't know me already, I'm your local godmother, 𝓤𝓚𝓞𝓤. How you doing? And if you do know me, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad to see you. Today, I wanted to bring up the topic of shadow work because a lot of people have questions on it, and I thought it was perfect timing since currently I'm taking a break from shadow work, and we'll get more into that later. But I thought this was a great topic to bring up because so many people wonder about it. It's such a key point to spiritual growth, personal growth, all that good stuff. So if you're here, you're probably wondering, what the hell is shadow work and how the hell do I even do this shit? So shadow work is basically the process of, working with your shadow self and healing your shadow self. And basically what your shadow self is the part of you that you suppress, your emotions that you suppress, your traumas that you suppress, and you kind of just don't come back to them. You just kind of let them dwell and sit in this shadow. And then that's how we develop things like triggers. It makes us mad, it makes us angry, it makes us annoyed, it makes us triggered, it makes us depressed, it makes us sad and whatnot, and so forth. You feel me? Shadow work is actually a process of undigging all of this shit, finding out your triggers, finding out why you think the way you think, finding out how you feel the way you feel about yourself, and how you feel about relationships, and why you feel that way, and what that comes from, and what that stems from. Because a lot of the reason we struggle to live in life today is from everything that comes in our shadow self that we haven't healed. And it's very important to heal the shadow self to even reach a certain point of success in self-growth or in spiritual growth, to reach the part that you want by doing self-work. Shadow work is very important to that step to bring you where you want to be. So some ways to find your triggers and heal them is you can do shadow work in multiple different ways. The main two ways that I do shadow work is through journaling and through meditation. So jumping into how to do shadow work by journaling is, of course, you would find some prompts. I'll provide some prompts in the description below, but you'd find some prompts, see what resonates you, and journal about that and see what comes up from that. And then, sit with it, evaluate it. Don't dwell on it, let it go, but understand what emotions are coming up from this prompt, and how are you feeling, and why do you feel this way, and so on and so forth. And then through meditation is basically you can also do it the same way as journaling. Find a prompt, or you can sit with an emotion you feel, or sit with how you're feeling at that time. Like, let's say you're going through a lot of like self-destruction and self-hate. So if you go into a meditation and you focus on the fact of, why am I feeling this way? What is this coming from? Like, and just dive deep into that and self-realization through meditation, basically. Another way, because some people are like, well, I don't know what my triggers are. An easy way that I found to find those triggers is through affirmations. If you do affirmations, and in certain affirmations an emotion comes up, like a negative emotion, like let's say I'm worthy, a root chakra affirmation, I'm worthy, but in the back of your head you're like, no, you're not. What are you worthy of? You feel me? So like, pay attention to those emotions that come up when you try to bring yourself up, because if those negative emotions are coming up while you're trying to build yourself and bring yourself up, there's some shadow work that needs to be done. You're being triggered by something, clearly. Another thing that really helps the shadow self is to stop like suppressing things, stop ignoring things, like deal with the emotions when you're dealt with the emotions. Like, if you're going through something that's really triggering or like frustrates you or is really stressful, full of anxiety, deal with it in that moment instead of suppressing it and have to do so much more work to deal with it later. I promise you, you will thank me if you start dealing with your emotions and processing your emotions in that point in time instead of pushing them to the side and then having a mental breakdown and having to deal with them when you're having a mental breakdown or anything like that. It'll help so much dealing with stuff when it's dealt to you instead of pushing it back and dealing with a mountain of buildup of emotions, of anxiety, of problems, of troubles that you've been going through for the month or for the week or whenever it decides to break out. So when you're feeling something like you're feeling sad or you're feeling self-destructive or self-hatred or in denial or you feel anxious or angry or whatever it may be, sit down in that moment, meditate on it, journal about it real quick. It can be a couple of words. You don't have to write a whole essay. And that's one thing about journaling that a lot of people are scared of it for, is because they're like, oh, well, I'm not good at writing, or I can't explain things that great, or I can't write that good. It's not about completing a grammatically correct, punctual essay. It's about writing how you feel. This is for you. Nobody's going to read your journal unless you let them. This is for you. You're writing to you, for you. So don't let that discourage you. This is your journal. This is your space, and you can do what you want with it. And you shouldn't be afraid that anybody's going to judge you, because the only person reading it is you. You feel me? Anywho, I was saying balance is key in shadow work. And I was talking about this in the beginning of the video on how I'm currently on a break from shadow work. When you do shadow work, a lot of negative energy comes up because you're trying to heal that negativity within you. So you can't always be consistent in shadow work, because then you're sitting in that negative energy every day like clockwork. And sometimes that's not good for your auric field. So you need to take a break, push back, step away for a second, enjoy the positive things in life, and then when you feel a little angsty, you can go back into that shadow work process. Right now I've taken a break for a week, and I'm probably going to start back journaling today. But take as long as you need. Our energies need break, especially going through a spiritual journey, wanting to build spiritual growth. If you're a healer, if you're an energy worker, if you practice anything that has to do with your energy and your time and your talents and powers and whatnot, you need breaks. And shadow work is a lot of energy to deal with. So it's okay to take breaks. You don't have to always do it every day. Like, you don't have to be consistent in a way that you're doing it every day. Of course, shadow work is good to be consistent with, but of course, take breaks in it. Like, you can do it every other day. You can do it consistently for a month and take a month break, or do it consistently for a month and take a week break, or whatever you feel is comfortable for you. I usually do it like in a feeling kind of way. If I feel like I need a break, if I feel like I'm dwelling in negative energy, like if it's making me dwell and not process, I'm gonna take a break, because shadow work is about processing and healing, not dwelling. And if you feel like you're dwelling and being like, oh, I really hate this about myself, or oh, this really makes me upset, and you're just dwelling and dwelling and dwelling, that's not good for you. Saying why it makes you upset and why it really frustrates you, say it, write it, think it, let it go. You don't have to dwell on it, if that makes any sense. But those are some key things about shadow work that I have learned and I have taken. I have been consistently doing shadow work for about a year now. I've been doing it on and off, like not consistent at all for more than a year, but really consistently for about a year now. And I used to be like, oh my gosh, shadow work, it's not essential. Oh my gosh, shadow work is so exhausting. Or I don't need it. I know how I feel the way that I feel. I used to think shadow work was so overrated and it wasn't essential to the healing process, and that I knew where my feelings came from and I knew how I feel and why the way I felt. And shadow work, it's so tiring, it takes so much energy and whatnot. Just downplaying shadow work for the longest. Once I started doing shadow work consistently, girl, I'm gonna tell you, my life changed so much, like for the better, because I'm actually understanding why I feel the way that I feel. And I struggle a lot with my depression. Shadow work helped a lot with my depression and my self-doubt and my self-hatred that I had within myself that was caused by the way I was raised and whatnot. And shadow work really helped me bust out of this bubble of I don't deserve it, you won't be able to finish it and whatnot. Bursting me out of this bubble into such an extreme, comforting, confident energy that I can do whatever the hell I think I can do. It's just a matter of trying and succeeding. Because if you're constantly telling yourself you can't, you're not going to be able to do it. So you have to be positive, because dwelling in those negative energies is not good for you. You have to bring positivity out. And shadow work is going to help those negative energies leave you and bring the positivity out. You're still going to have your shadow self, which is balance. You need dark and light, yin and yang, masculine, feminine. You need that. You're going to have negativity within you regardless of how much work you do, regardless of if you're active, go to the gym, do meditation, do yoga, journal, burn incense, pray. No matter what you do, you're going to have that negativity in you. That's just balance, negative and positive. But you can help it from affecting your auric field. You can carry those dark emotions within you, but you can save them from affecting your positivity, if that makes any sense. I really hope this helps somebody watching today. I know it wasn't a long video. I thought it was going to be longer, but I guess my throat chakra, she's activated today. She know what she want to do. So yeah, I hope some of y'all took some information, have a little clarity on shadow work, know how essential it is on spiritual and personal growth, and take something with you. And also check out the description for some shadow work prompts if you don't know where to start. And you can also always find more on the internet, Google, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, and stuff like that. But I do have some shadow work content over on my Twitter and my Instagram if you want to check that out. And then, of course, I'm going to have some prompts in the description for you guys. Without further ado, I'm going to say my goodbyes. I love y'all. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Don't forget to check out my podcast. If you haven't, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at zoilita_holistic. And if you want to shop my jewelry or any crystals, and more is coming soon. I'm going to start some herbal bundles soon. I don't know how soon, but it's definitely in the works. Go check that out at www.zoilita.holistic.com. But anywho, I love y'all. Stay safe, stay blessed, and have a great day or night or afternoon whenever you're watching this.